because, like, knowledge is evil. Words are bad. Being informed is, ooh, weird. I'm a trendy. I just want to say racist. Yeah. And you're like, hey, you're being made a slave. Shut up. I don't care. Whatever. They're coming out with boxes in all the cars that tax you by the mile. This is 10 years ago. They're going to do it. Here's their documents. Oh, shut up. I don't care. That'll never happen, nutball. And once it's here, it's like, oh, I like it. It's liberal. It's meant to control you and give you less resources so that they can engineer the economy. Here's their own admissions. Sure, homophobe. And you're like, listen, please, there's cancer viruses in the vaccine. Here's 100 different news articles and documents, all admitting it. Shut up, racist. But I'm warning you, I care about you. You're weak because you try to warn me. I just walk around and act trendy. And the elite just go, wipe them out, join us. Wipe them out. Wipe them out. They want to be wiped out. They don't want your help. It doesn't matter. I can't give over my soul and my dignity and join the dark side that's helped engineer all this. But that's how it works. You join the cult of laughing at all the scum, laughing at how dumb they are, laughing at how stupid they are. The problem is the globalists running it are even worse. But the trendies don't know they're being laughed at. Toll-free number to join us. This is the Sunday number, different than the weekday number. 877-789-ALEX. First-time callers, by the way, today. 877-789-2539. 877-789-2539. The first 5-6 callers will make first-timers. I'll go to them first, and then other folks can call in about 5 minutes. We'll get long-time callers and people that disagree or whatever on. But I want to give first-time callers a shot. 877-789-ALEX. 877-789-2539. I'm Alex Jones, a conspiracy theorist, because I think 2 + 2 = 4. I want to take your phone calls. The toll-free number to join us is 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. That is the Sunday number because we produce the whole show here in studio. I've been 21 years on air, about 20 syndicated. And back in the old days, I would do it out of my home studio and just let them take the calls and run it. And I would say their name and go to them, have their name on a computer screen. Still do that today. And so normally Genesis takes the phone calls up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's our syndicator, our satellite platform. But the Sunday show is all contiguous. It's all homogeneous, I guess you could say, to this studio on Sundays. So that's why the number is different. Okay, where to begin? Where to start here, obviously. Recapping the Brexit, the British exit, despite all the propaganda, all the media demonization, all the lies, huge election fraud that was confirmed and reported. Still, the people of Britain, I guess reaching back to their vestigial roots of being the only folks that the Romans couldn't conquer, said no to the EU. And that's because of Lord Monckton and Nigel Farage and others that several decades ago founded the UKIP party. And UKIP is pretty much Ron Paul-esque, probably not even as hardcore. You know, let's say hardcore-wise, I'm a 10. And, of course, there's folks more hardcore, but I think I get as hardcore as is reasonable. You can find folks that are a 20 or a 30 out there. But let's just say on the scale of saying I'm about as radical as you can get safely. And by safely, I mean without feeding into the globalist loop of civil war. I mean, I really go as far as I can to try to wake people up and try to really change society without causing infighting and civil war. I mean, I'm really trying to fix stuff. I really believe the pen is mightier than the sword. I don't get off on, twisted dreams of physical confrontation. The globalists want to go to that because they think they can win that. They definitely can't win a velvet revolution of ideas. Most revolutions are actually intellectual, business, corporate, intellectual developments, societal, technological. They don't call those revolutions. They always want to bill revolution as, killing people because those are the hardest to win. Almost all of those are lost. Almost all of those create something worse than what you had before historically, except for ours, because ours was 90% intellectual, 10% physical. And the founders said that. We had 3% of the country fighting, maybe 2% supporting. By the end of the war, it was 30-40%. The British knew it was shifting against them. After 6 years, they had to back off. But ours was a velvet revolution backed up by a gun. And it may go to that. And God knows I'll be one of the first targets they're going to try to take out, not because I'm going to be leading some physical operation, but because I'm an intellectual leader. A born leader. And not because I'm even the sharpest knife in the drawer or my elevator doesn't go all the way up to Valhalla, but I'll tell you this, I'm not out to screw people. I got goodwill. I believe in humanity, and I have vision, a purpose-driven life of wanting others to succeed and wanting to believe in others, and because I'm self-confident. And the minute I start trying to think of bringing other people down, I feel weak and pathetic and not like a leader. And that's what a leader is somebody who's first at the scene, ready to take action, not afraid of criticism. To quote Mark Twain in the beginning of Patriots, a scarce man, hated, feared, and scorned. But in time when his cause succeeds, it's him to join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. And I remember being 3 years old at the daycare Christmas, whatever you call it, play, and they had like 20 kids there, nice little daycare. My mom worked at the Dallas Morning News. My dad was finishing medical school. He finished the next year. It was a nice little daycare, and they had the thing, and none of the kids would come out. None of them would do the play. I'd been given a little roll of the moo the cow that brought milk to the baby Jesus. And I remember watching all the kids not come out, all of them being scared, all of them not willing to speak, all of them crying, and like 100 adults out there wanting to watch the kids on the little stage they had. And I remember saying, well, I can't let everybody be bummed out and everybody be losers. I remember thinking, I can't let everybody be scared. Why are they scared? It's fun to go out and do this. I've got to make everybody happy out there. I've got to go out and deliver these words. And I ran out and said, I moo the cow. I bring milk for the baby Jesus. And everybody had a standing ovation. Everybody made a joke about it, and the thing ended. Not one child took the stage from ages 3 years old to like 7. And that's why I'm here fighting the globalists. I mean, I'm not going to just sit here and be overrun with propaganda where the UN openly runs open borders and brings in all the people with diseases to collapse the country and admits it's the plan and then tells us it isn't happening when we have video of it. Well, guess what? Years later, it's all over the news. Years later, it's admitted that's going on. And I'm not up here saying, oh, look, I'm this great leader, kiss my butt. I'm saying you just got to care about other people and not want to be run over and do your own research, and you'll be a leader as well. The problem is so many real leaders don't ever get involved in leadership because they're so humble. Well, listen, being humble is great, but being a slave is something you don't want to be. So stand up, speak up, get involved today, in my humble view. We need leaders to stand up and take action. Speaking of leaders, Nigel Farage, 20-something years ago, founded the UKIP party. Had no coverage, no support, but kept pointing out the EU's unelected. We're going into it without being able to vote. Then they were brought into it without a vote 15-something years ago by Tony Blair. Then they pointed out how almost all their laws were made by it, how it's banning free speech and how it's unelected and how it's evil and finally people said, man, you're right. And all of a sudden, it's the fastest growing party in Europe and the UK. And it's Patriot. And he comes on this show, and he's aware of the New World Order. That shows how, in the beginning, a patriot's a scarce man. Hated, feared, and scorned. But in time, when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. I don't want to just be some braying sheep that agrees with the crowd and sells my family out. If I know something's true, if I know something's run by bad people, I'm not a hero because I challenge it. Man, I'm self-preservation here. I'm somebody who's not going to get pushed around or run over. And I'm willing to die, not because I'm a hero, but because I'm alive. My progeny's going to go on. Humanity's going to be successful if we succeed, because I'm like my ancestors. I'm not going to lay down without a fight. And that's called civilization, goodwill, being informed, being involved. Let's just play a short clip of this. I'll come back and play the rest, and then we'll go to your phone calls. But here's somebody came from nowhere to now be the true leader of Europe.
The sun has risen on an independent, united kingdom. And just look at it. Even the weather's improved. It's been a hell of a long journey, this. I first got involved in Eurosceptic politics 25 years ago. And the first election I contested, I managed to beat the late, great Screaming Lord Sutch by 164 votes, so I didn't come last. And now there are 17 million people that voted for Brexit. It's a victory for ordinary people, decent people. It's a victory against the big merchant banks, against the big businesses, and against big politics. And I'm proud of everybody that had the courage, in the face of all the threats, everything they were told, they had the guts to stand up and do the right thing. The election was won, in my view, in the Midlands and the North, and I think it was the old Labour vote that came to us, and we, particularly as a party, campaigned as hard as we could in those areas. There is still a massive disconnect between Westminster, SW1 and real communities. And the one image I will remember throughout the rest of my life was a woman in Bolton grabbing my hands.
Let's back this up. We're going to go to break.
Saying, why?
This is historic. Stay with us. He's now admittedly the new leader of Europe. I see on my TV screen here, my monitor, the callers coming in. There's like 11 of them on hold. And it's Scottish John says, Brexit issue, disturbing news. I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm guessing he's going to get into the pitfalls of it. How globalists are planning to use it to create a new scam. How Scotland says they want to block the England's attempt to pull out. We're going to cover all that. We're going to take your calls. And yes, there's going to be pitfalls. Nothing's perfect. But unelected EU taking over the UK without there ever being a vote, and now trying to ban people's free speech and becoming openly dictatorial, it's blowing up in their face. And from Spain to the Netherlands, they now have prominent leaders saying it's time for us to exit. And they have the leader of the Czech Republic and the leader of Romania and the leader of Hungary and the second most powerful party in Germany calling it a tyranny. We couldn't even get people 20 years ago to admit they were setting up an EU when it was already set up. They would say there isn't an EU. It doesn't start till 2000 when it was already under treaty going. I mean, that's the games we played fighting these globalists. But it's not a game, but they act like it is. It just goes back and forth, these games they make you play of trying to get the public to even know something exists. And they've called UKIP racist and all sorts of names and tried every dirty trick in the book. And all UKIP says we can't have totally open borders and give everybody free stuff. This is the globalist program. So let's finish up a little bit of Nigel Farage, the leader of UKIP, fastest growing party in the UK, fastest growing in Europe. It's UKIP, UK Independence Party. Get out of the EU. They have a ceremonial EU parliament. He got elected to that and gets up every week and points out that they have no power and the bureaucracy runs everything. And who set that up? A bunch of billionaires. The EU is a giant scam. And people say, well, why was George Soros involved in the EU? And wanting an EU bailout in Ukraine and backing it, but now he's making money off of it. Because these guys play both sides. But just because they're playing both sides doesn't mean we're losers by battling the EU's tyranny and then they just jump over and try to control the opposition. That's how this works. And we fight them at that level. We're fighting unelected government. We're fighting global centralization. We're fighting taxation boxes in your smart meter, your car. We're informing people to the scams that aren't free market. We want to have a system based on justice and voting with your dollars and a free open society and a renaissance, not one based on UN bureaucrats above the law, tax exempt with diplomatic immunity, owning and running global corporations that are exempt from carbon taxes. You know that a whole bunch of UN officials like Pachauri and others are exempt from carbon taxes. So, of course, their factories, they own factories and power plants next to them, and everybody goes to build their factory there because they're above the law. You can't compete. That's what Donald Trump says. He goes, yeah, I print my shirts in China and Mexico. You can't afford to do it here. I want to change the deal where I can do it here. We get shirts made in America. A normal T-shirt printed in America cost us $14 to $15 a piece. We sell it for $25, and after everything, make like $5. I can get it printed in Mexico for $3, $4. And I can then sell it for $5 and make $1. Oh, my gosh, I'm so evil. I mean, how am I supposed to? So we print, most of our shirts are made in America. They're actually woven in America. The cotton's from America. They're printed in America. I make special deals with people to try to drive the price down